Hello and welcome to season 2 of the Witch's Tea Party. So you are joining me solo whilst Ellen is being an absolute wild woman, crazy bear, traveling the outback in the Northern Territory with her beloved brand new car. And I really wanted to keep this series going because we had regular listeners, and I've been off on my own, setting up a new clinic and working really hard. But I wanted to get this series off to a flying start, talking about conscious dating, because for all of us out there, there's a lot of us out there in our 40s to 50s and 60s, looking for other awake people, spiritual, conscious, whatever kind of terminology we want to use. And it becomes very clear. There's so many Facebook groups at the moment, and it's how do we navigate through this? Because it doesn't matter whether you're male or female, you can still get ghosted. There's a lot of ruthlessness out there. And it really came to light recently how we are so quick to just flick people off or cast each other aside. And as an empath, it changes the dynamic even more in the sense of feeling people's energy, which is a whole other level, a whole other dynamic, right? So lots of the rules don't work for us. You know, the whole play it cool or don't reply to messages straight away. And none of that ever seems intuitive to me at all because it just seems game playing. But then you can be seen as too eager or too desperate. And it's just a minefield. And especially when, if you're an 80s child like me, we just used to just get dressed up, go out with your friends, go clubbing, go dancing, and then you just naturally meet people. And we're living in this age where everything's technological. I refuse to go on Tinder. I proudly have never gone on Tinder. I never will use Tinder. We're not interested in hookups and just a casual fling. Lots and lots of us are looking for real serious relationships that are not serious. We want to be able to express ourselves. We know ourselves. We know what we're looking for. We know the qualities that we're after. And yet most of us have children. We have baggage. We have lots of trauma. We've been hurt before. Many of us divorced. Um, so then there's the layer of, well, then we're splitting our time between being a parent and our career and then a new relationship, which is always difficult. So I really want to kind of just go with this today and talk about this topic because it's not only been at the forefront of my mind, but also for other people that I've seen in other groups. So I've written a few things down to kind of give a little bit of structure. First of all, boundaries. So this is the biggest one. And this is where I usually fall down because, again, as an empath, we are very understanding, and a lot of us are in the intuitive healing space, or we're therapists. So it's very natural. It's second nature to want to nurture. If somebody goes, "Oh, I'm a bit scared," it's like, "Oh, that's okay. I can reassure you. I will reassure you of insecurities. I will come down to your level to make you feel good, and I can help to heal you, and I can help to fix you. Because when you work through your stuff, it's awesome on the other end. Because I am living this love and light." And it's very hard to hold your own ground and hold your own vibration and actually say, no, I'm standing in my vibration, whichever level that is in, and waiting for that person to come in at that same level. That's, I think, the number one. So when it comes to setting boundaries and being assertive with others, many of us have those skills to be able to implement in the workplace with maybe ex-partners. We're mature, we're in our 40s, we know how to handle ourselves. But when it comes to dating someone, especially when it's someone we really like, we can come across as too keen, too eager, too desperate because we just want to let go of those boundaries. We just want everything to be love and roses and be the romantic, the dancing movie. Or is that just me? I just love day dancing. But yeah, a lot of us are true romantics. We're all looking for the perfect partner, the happy ending. And there is no perfect partner. There's no perfect person. Somebody recently said to me they're looking for the perfect woman for them. And I understand that, like they're perfect for you. But I love this post that I sent out recently, which was, I'm not looking for just another relationship. I'm looking for someone who's just as weird as me, and for someone who can give me lots of hugs and laughter. And I love that, because you're not just sharing a life together. You're not just being a life partner. You're saying, look, I want to have love and lightness. I want to have affection. Those are really, they're up there. They're my top qualities. So when we're trying to set those boundaries, it's like, what do you say that's okay and that's not okay? And I had a conversation with somebody that was it was very immature. It was very of a sexual nature, and it just completely turned me off. It was just like, it was where I was at 10 years ago. You just kind of go, nah, it's not going to work. And I felt like there was a bit of catfish there. That was a very recent profile. It only had one photo. So I was like, hey, send some more photos. I thought, I'm not going to open up any more of my life, because I'm a very open person. I'm not going to send you any more pictures of me in my life until I get something back. So I think that's number one in the dating, because we can get so head over heels, like, oh, this is a new, we gush. I call it gushing, right? We really like this person. We're like, oh, this is exciting, this is new, this could be the one, this could be something, and we're gushing. We're in this really energetic vibration, and we're open and we're honest and we're free. And we don't understand anyone else who is not open and honest and free. But what can happen is that we're too open and honest, and it's just about discernment. And it's like, you could post photos of this, like your entire life. You can give away your date of birth, where you live. Like, we've got to be wise in this, because there are people out there with false profiles. So we've got to be wise and savvy at the same time as feeling into it. So intuitively, I was like, hang on, there's some yellow, orange flags. So I was very quickly, in the early stages, hey, send me some more pictures of yourself, because I didn't feel right looking at his profile. Suddenly went very quiet. And I was like, ha ha ha, caught you out. Didn't hear from him for a whole day. Then the following day he said, oh, hey, babe. Oh, I can't stand that. Like, as if we've known each other for ages. I was like, we don't. I've never met you. It's like, hey, babe. Yeah, I've already, oh, sorry, I was really busy yesterday. And I opened it, read it, never responded. You can say that's ghosting someone, but at least I read the message. But yeah, I didn't say there's any point in getting into it, because what do you say from that? Do I say, hey, I'm not interested anymore? And then they're opening up to a conversation. I just didn't address it. Okay. But he never chased either. If he asked the question, I would have responded. If he said, hey, what's going on? Why are you not talking to me? I would have gone, because I don't trust you, because you're not sending me any photos. What's going on? This is fishy. So that's one important boundary we can set. When it's in terms of communication, that's another trigger. And I'd love to share my story with you, because this was happening over the new moon. So the new moon, 25th of October, and then the full moon, the blood moon. Lots of people have been talking about it. It's affected so many of us. Everything's very up and down, lots of confusion, indecision, like turmoil, trauma, all this stuff sort of come up, and it feels like we're in a washing machine. And amongst this, I met someone and felt a really, really strong connection. And I have spoken to quite a lot of people in the past year. We're at November now, so it's been a good nearly 11 months of sort of just dipping in and out. I'll date someone for a couple of months, then that finishes, and I have a bit of a break, and then I'm like, okay, I'm ready to date again. And so you do talk to other people, and you do get better at being able to feel people's energies quicker. So again, as an empath, it's like, oh, I like how they talk, I like their speech, or you can tell by the sound of their voice. There's lots of things, and it's not a judgment. This is very, very clear. This is not you judging them on their appearance or judging them how they speak. It's more of a knowing. It's like a gut feeling. And this certain person, firstly, their eyes caught my attention and was like, whoa, what was that? It's a big, big giveaway for me. It is the windows of the soul, right? And it was like, wow, look at their eyes. And then I heard their voice, and it was like, oh, wow. And I saw their lips, And I was like, oh, I could just really imagine kissing those lips. And I actually fell, I can't say I fell in love. I melted, my heart was melting by listening to how they parented, because listening to their kindness, and it was amazing in that instance. I thought, that's what turns me on. Kindness is what turns me on. And I didn't know that about myself. And it's not just kindness, there was banter, sense of humor, there was connection, there was real lightheartedness, like everything, tick, 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 right? But this is what really got me. That's what struck my heart chord. And all of a sudden, it felt like, because we both have children, I knew it was going to be hard to spend time with them. But none of that mattered, because I just wanted to be in the family with them in that moment. It was like, your boys sound amazing, you sound amazing. Yeah, it's hard work. Yeah, it's going to be tumultuous. Yeah, it's not always like that. But you're in it together and you're a team, and you still can make time for adult time somewhere through that, especially if you've got ex-partners and you have weekends free and stuff. But so that was a massive quality that, one guy I'm speaking to has never had kids, who's really immature. The next one's got kids. We just click. We understand what it's like to be a parent. That's 100% number one for me. So everybody that you meet and talk to can show you different things about yourself. So that's a really interesting tool in all of this, because they're like mirrors reflecting components of yourself, right? And it shows your vibration of where you're at. So if you keep on attracting in a certain type of guy, so for example, years ago, I only attracted in guys that wanted to use me for sex, and I couldn't understand why. But because my level of vibration was that I was only worthy of that. So even though deep, and I was craving for a family, I was craving to settle down with somebody. I really wanted a baby daddy. I really wanted family. I've always only ever wanted family and stability. And yet I was flitting between people who were non-committal. So I couldn't understand why. And it was because, deep down inside, I was scared to commit. I was so scared of being hurt and petrified, and I hadn't really done that inner work. So that's another really good thing to remember, that every single person we meet and have an interaction with is an opportunity to learn and grow. And we can always use that to say thank you. Say, thank you for sending me that person, universe. Next time, can I have someone who's available? Or thank you, universe, for sending that person. Can you make sure they're ready? Available and ready. You don't have to have this massive list of, oh, they've got to be 6'2" and blue eyes. It's like, these things are bonuses. If you're looking at someone on a soul level, I've said as an introduction to getting to know someone, I've got 5 top qualities. So I'm like, communication is key, because if you just shut down and stop talking, man, we're never going to get on. You got to keep that flow going. Trust and loyalty, being able to know that there's no lies between you, and to have the same morals and ethics, that lying is the same as cheating, which is just fundamentally destructive. Absolutely got no time and space for it. So having those in your mind as well, and being really crystal clear, is very useful and helpful. And you're not being picky. You're not saying, my man's got to make more money than me, and he's got to be 6 foot tall, and he's got to have brown hair, and like, that is all just superficial bullshit. You're never going to find the perfect partner if you have an impossible list. And this is why so many people are so hit and miss. And we are making judgments. You're making a judgment on someone's photo. Are you looking deeply into their eyes? Are you looking at their soul? And the gift of being an empath is that you can, to a certain degree, go into their energy field. You need to ask permission, really, but you can get a good guidance, and you feel. And, for someone, I felt sadness, real sadness. And it's like, oh, honey, I just want to come and heal you, and make you better, and show you that you can trust someone to be happy again. But that's their journey, and I can't intervene with that. And that's my fixer and healer thing. But yeah, my story that I was going to share about, when people show you things about yourself, is somebody again didn't get back to me. I was talking to this guy, beautiful, beautiful man, for 4 days, and then we set a date, and then radio silence, and I got so anxious, and it just reared up into me, and I was like, oh my, what is this? It was like some grizzly bear came out, and I was like, oh, I'm so anxious, what's happened, what have I done wrong, and I was like, no, I'm breaking that habit. I'm not going to pick myself apart, and this is not about anything that I've done wrong. Yes, I can be intense. This is not about me. What's going on for them? Okay. And the fact that I got so anxious showed me that I still have a fear of abandonment that I thought I had worked through. So again, that's an opportunity to go, thank you for showing me that I have that to work through. I love you too, my darling. Oh God, my son just came in and said, I love you. Oh God. Oh, so when it came up to this big blood full moon, okay, this is the sequence. Throughout the week, I kept getting the message, trust, just trust and have faith, trust and have faith, trust, trust, trust. And I was like, yeah, I do trust. Like, where am I going with this? And then this anxiety came up with fear of abandonment. And I was like, oh, I didn't know I was afraid of being abandoned. I didn't think that was an issue. But yeah, when I really, really like somebody, crap, it's still there. Oh, no. And then with the full moon, and I went deep into my body and said, what is it that I need to release? Sorry, what is it that you want me to release? It came up, release the need of overgiving. And all of a sudden, the jigsaw puzzles came together. So I need to release the need of overgiving. I overgive to everybody in my life and don't retain anything for myself because of the fear of abandonment. So if I trust in the universe and trust and know that I'm fully held and supported within life, because I will never abandon myself. And I supply all the needs in my life. I supply my own love. I supply my own independence, my own wealth, my own health, creativity. I supply all of that, and with the support of God and God's source. You know, God's got my back, 100%. I have faith in that because of the high intention and the spiritual work that I do. And that's been proven time and time again. If I have trust in that, then there is no fear of abandonment, which means I can release the need to overgive. Ha! It was awesome. And all of this came from dating someone, or can I say, talking to someone for 4 days. And I felt into this intuitively and went, this doesn't feel like I'm being ghosted. Like there's something else going on. And again, felt into it. Da, 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 da. Sure enough, he messaged me Friday night. Hey, I'm really sorry. It's been a really bad week. So it's such an interesting journey, and also catching the ego. And this is what I wanted to talk about today as well, about the ego. And it can work against us, and it's so tricky because I've got a team of friends behind me that's like, girlfriend, know yourself. So I do the clicks again. Girlfriend. Like, know your self-worth, be a diva. He can't treat you like that. He just I always go into an American accent. I'm so sorry. I just feel like I'm on Jerry Springer, and it's like, girlfriend. It's like, you're not gonna treat me like that. And I think it comes from, can I say, a strong black woman, because strong black women are fucking fierce. You don't mess with them, and I love them for it. And I try and embody that. So I think that's why I go into this. So that's as an aside, and that's not being racist. That's a cultural thing, and I have the utmost respect. And I wish we could be more like that, because I'm a reserved English person and it's pretty cringy. But anyway, that's an aside. So channeling that fierce, like, I ain't not going to put up with any shit in my life, like, you can't treat me like that. Yeah, you're in your diva mode, you're in your self-worth. But that can also stem from ego, and you're not bringing in that spiritual awareness when you have that feeling of, I can easily, this is the difference. I can easily give Mr. M the flick, because I could feel there's ego there. I could feel my energy changing. It became a bit narcissistic. I was doing these like weird selfies I was trying to make myself look younger in and thinner in, and I was like, oh, whoa, what is this? This is not me being my natural self. That's the ego. Yeah. So that's very easy to go, nah, you're not right for me, see ya, poof. Because even remember, the people that we talk to are in our energy field, in our consciousness. That is an energy link and an energy cord, let alone coming into contact with them and sleeping with them. That's even stronger. So put it this way, if you are sleeping with someone who is depressed and has low self-worth, over a period of time, you will also become depressed and have low self-worth. Okay? You cannot change them. You cannot increase their vibration. They feel good, but especially from a man from a woman, man from woman, rather than woman from man, it depletes us. It takes our chi, literally from our juicy lips of vagina. That's tantric teaching, okay? And it's Kundalini energy, yoga. Like we we all understand that. So if that's kind of gone, what was that? Think about it. You're exchanging bodily fluids. You're exchanging energy fields. You're exchanging that close, intimate contact. So you do take on literally particles of them. Okay, so knowing all of that, even just having a messenger or a WhatsApp or that kind of conversation, that can be energetically draining. So be discerning as to what groups you're in. And I had to leave a singles group because there are these two dickheads and they put this really sexist post on there. And I called them up on it and I was like, no, that's not funny. They're like, oh, where's your sense of humour, love? And I was like, I have a sense of humour, but that's not fucking funny. Like, save it for your mates. This is a singles group. It's not appropriate. And then, I was like, oh, yeah, of course. And I was just like, oh, why am I even wasting my time and energy? So I just left. I just thought, I don't need to be here. If you all find that funny, yeah, go for it. Good one, mate. But I haven't got time for that. It was really berating. It was degrading and it was negative and it was just nasty. So anyway, so coming back to who we're talking to and our energy links, streamline that, because we can have so many virtual conversations in our head. We are creating all these different energy links and it's not good. It's just the same as sleeping with lots of people. It's having too many energetic cords linked in with us. We'll become this like crazy energetic octopus, and we need to cut those energetic cords and be clean and clear. So really just focusing on a few people is really, really good. And especially with dating, you don't want to be dating several people at a time. That can be I don't think it has the right intention behind it. Again, it's from ego. And that's what I mean about where's the line between your self-worth and self-esteem and saying this is what I deserve and this is what I expect, compared to the ego where it's like, I want to be treated like a fucking queen. It's like, hey, calm down, sister. Like, let's just have compassion for what we've all been through. And there's a lot of guys out there who have been through the ringers, and we all need nurture. Okay, it's not just about a man being a tough guy and they're strong enough to support us and they just inundate us with gifts and treat us like a princess. I don't even want to be in that kind of relationship. I want someone to meet me as equal, that can look me in the eye and say, yeah, I've been hurt too. It's good that we understand pain, because we will not disrespect each other in that same way, because we understand what that feels like. So coming to that level of relationship and saying, this is me, I know who I am, I know what I will tolerate and won't tolerate. You can be assertive, but still gentle and caring and nurturing and compassionate and understanding. It doesn't have to be this all in or all out, and it can be very like you're pushing away the very thing that you want. And the whole, people want to chase, and it's very egotistical. And I do agree with a lot of classic psychology in terms of dating when you're younger, you know, like the thrill of the chase and acting a bit coy and, you know, kind of not giving away things too much. But look, it's 2022. We've been through COVID. A lot of people are spiritually awake. A lot of us are in our 40s with kids. We don't want to waste time. We're not playing games. We understand what it's like to be a parent and sustain a career, and it's a stressful life. We're crystal clear as to what we want, and it can be very empowering to bring that to the table and go, this is who I am. I know who I am. I'm happy with who I am. And do you want to meet me as an equal? And all the joys that that can bring, rather than game playing and just feels yucky. And that doesn't mean that we are making excuses for bad behavior. So let's really hone in on this now. Because again, as empaths, we can attract in narcissists, we can attract in abusers. And man, they just see us as a golden ticket. They're just like, ha ha, we've got a great one here. And they play on our kindness. And I've had this. It's awful because our intuition usually tells us things don't feel right, but we choose to ignore it because we want the happy ending. We really do. And then if we get into a confrontation of things that don't feel right, that can lead to domestic abuse. So often, a lot of women I've seen are so desperate to have a man around the house. They've been a single mum for a long time. They fall for the charm. They won't confront, and they'll just say everything's happy, tickety boo. Awful, great, great. But it's really not. It's not an authentic relationship. And that means more to me above everything else. I would rather be alone and have 1,000 cats and die in my rocking chair than be with the wrong person. 100%. I've said it all my life and I'll keep on saying it. I would rather that than be with the wrong person. I want to be with a soulmate who gets me. We get each other. We can support each other. We help each other grow. We can handle and adapt through change. But it is abuse. Ignorance is never bliss. It's superficial bullshit. And having that authentic partner blows it away. And I've had that. So when you've experienced a really, really good relationship where you are just real with each other, you know that anything else is a cut. It's never going to cut it. So never make excuses for bad behavior because we're so desperate for the happy ending. That's the danger zone. And empaths can fall into that very easily. It's like, oh, well, it's okay he didn't talk to me for 5 days because he's been through a really hard time. And my nature, my nurturing nature can kick in and go, oh, I understand. It's okay. I'm here for you. And I had to really pull back and go, well, no. Like, yeah, you're busy. It takes 2 seconds to send a message when you're having a poo. Let's be real with this, okay? We all take our phones to the toilet. It takes 2 seconds to say, hey, really busy, but I'm thinking of you. That's all you need. And it doesn't work for me to not have that communication. If you just shut down, it doesn't work for me. And yeah, it triggers me. That's my issue. And I really want to be that chilled out girlfriend that goes, it's cool, it's okay, that's just what he does. But can you imagine if you've had an argument and you really want to resolve it and then you don't hear from someone for a week? It's like, what's happening? And yeah, maybe if you've been in a long-term relationship and you know that that's just the way things are and that's the way to handle things, then that can work. You give each other space and you know they're going to come back. But in the early days of dating, it's like, well, no, I need to set that boundary and say that's not okay. And he knew it was not okay and apologized before I even said anything. So that signifies he's a decent person because he's identified that it was not okay, it was rude, and he's sorry. He said sorry twice. So to me, that's a sign of respect, and that's really good. It still needs a conversation, though. It still needs like, hey, you can talk to me about anything. It's cool. I'll be a chilled out, perfect partner as long as you don't shut me out. You shut me out, yeah, like that just hurts. That just hurts because you're just left wondering, like, what the fuck is happening? You've been in a car crash? Are you okay? Like you don't know what's happened. So never make excuses for bad behavior, and that includes our own behavior. Taking responsibility and accountability, I think, is key in any relationship, including the relationship with ourselves. So, to sum up then, conscious dating 2022, how do we navigate it? I think that firstly, feeling and trusting ourselves with intuition. There's a fine balance, and it's a bit of an art and it's a skill between learning to identify quickly who we develop more intimate conversations with. And I personally like to meet as soon as possible, because if you just, it can be very disempowering. You're giving away a lot of information about yourself. You're building up a fictitious person without even knowing if there's chemistry between you or if they're even real. Could be a fake profile. You've got to look after ourselves, especially women. I'm sorry, but we do. And I've had friends who've been catfished. They were catfished for months. And it's just awful because you're falling head over heels with somebody that's not even real. Or they're living a separate life. And it's yucky, and it's too common because people want a partner in everyday life that they can lean on and rely on, but they're so bored that they just want to go online and flirt with someone else. And it's very, very toxic. So we have the responsibility to make sure that doesn't happen, for ourselves as well as, for the greater good. Yeah, the skill with getting really good and being quick at going, no, that's not for me. But when you do feel that connection, to nurture that and give it time, and look to see what is it showing you. Is it showing you where your extra work needs to be done? Because that is a gift. Every single one of them is. And even for me, I thought maybe this just isn't the right time for me to be dating. There's a lot of things I want to do at the moment. I want to channel into my work. I want to get on top of my study. It's coming up to Christmas. I've got a court case coming up, like all these things. It's like, have I even got time for a relationship? Have I got the energy to give to somebody else? I don't think I do. So be fair. And if it's taking up too much headspace, it's like just streamline, become very clear, keep your energy very crystal clear and your vibration high, so that then that person comes in at the level. So can we stop attracting the same type of people? Absolutely, by doing our inner work, finding that mentor, investing in our spiritual health. Dig deep, dig deep, dig deep, and keep releasing. Work through trauma. It all has to come up to be healed. I know a lot of people are against counselling because it feels like if you talk, you're just regurgitating. But there are so many different therapies, including the one that I do in Tantra. And I'm not going to do a sales pitch here, but there's so much that people are drawn to and resonated that I encourage you to go with, that just blast into your emotions, the depth of your being, looking at shadow work, inner child, past life. And it just blows open wide your heart. And the more that you can release the fear and trauma, even if you think you don't have any, there's bound to be something lurking in there, trust me. And from lifetimes and from our ancestors, the more love and light we can be held in, and the vibration raised. So that's number one. If you are attracting the same type of people, where is it the work that you need to be doing? And it's very interesting. They are mirrors and reflection of where you're at, because I can see that with every single person I date. It's like, oh, I'm going up, 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 up. They're getting better and better and better, because people that I would dabble with 10 years ago are not even in my reality now. They're not even in my peripherals. They just do not exist because they're not on my radar. Does that make sense? It's like tuning into the radio station and tuning into the right frequency. And it's like, I just don't listen to 88 FM anymore, whatever it is. Staying protected whilst open-hearted, I think, is the most important and most discerning thing we can do, all of us. And it is hard because we want to be open and trusting, And yet we've got to be discerning, and it can be scary. And especially when we meet someone, we think, oh my God, they're the bee's knees. I'm feeling intense emotions. You want to run with it. And sometimes you can freeze in the headlights because it's all overwhelming and too much. And I just invite you to feel into it. Keep feeling into it. If it feels right, trust it and go with it. Never give up. Never stop believing. Love is what matters. And there are good guys out there. I've met the most beautiful, beautiful men, and sometimes we've just stayed friends. Most of the time, we've just stayed friends. And they are like, I could never be a man hater. I can never say, oh, they're all bastards, they're all out there, they're all scumbags. No way. Everybody in my life now is beautiful. I have the most beautiful friends encouraging me and supporting me and sending me love. It's amazing. And the same goes for women. Like we don't we don't all cheat. We're the ones that have been blasted. We're the ones that have been hurt and traumatized, and we are shit scared of meeting a guy and putting our trust in them again and letting them into our home and into our bed, near our beautiful children. So we need that trust and nurturing from you guys as well, your feminine aspects, and to go easy on us. And women, don't scare them off so much. Don't be masculine too much. It can be very difficult for guys to come forward, and that whole traditional role and stereotype, and I know I can be really intimidating. I come across, I'm full on, I'm confident, I know what I want, I've got this fire energy, I'm very much my masculine energy, and it's not about toning it down, but one concept is that it will never be too much for the right person. They'll be attracted to it rather than put off by it. But I think awareness is key. And, someone who's just met me can go, whoa, because they don't yet know me as me for me, as that all-rounded person. Whereas my friends I've known for years, they're like, yeah, we get you. So just bear that in mind as well as to how we come across. And don't be too quick to judge. Oh my God, I can't stand it. The older I'm getting, the more I can't stand judgment. When I see judgment, I hate it. It's like you haven't even got to know XYZ. Don't judge that person. You don't know the story. You don't know the background. If I had ever made any of the judgments, I wouldn't have the most beautiful friends in my life. I'm just going to read here any of the notes that I've put here. Compassion for other people's circumstances. Yes. So we can have compassion for other people's circumstances without making excuses for bad behavior. And that's, again, it's like a tightrope. It's a thin line between the two opposites. It's like being too trusting and being too closed down, taking a chance and being too open-hearted, and bad excuses, bad behavior, or actually showing compassion and going, yeah, like, I'm really sorry you've had a really shit week. I've had a shit week too. Let's talk about it. And it's all about connection. We're all craving connection. All of us are craving connection. And it's a beautiful thing that, I was let down on a date this weekend, and my ego was like, I'm going to go out with somebody else. I'm going to go out by myself. I'm not going to let someone else ruin that for me. Like, I just want to go and do what I want to do. And when all that kind of like petered down, I was like, you know what? I just want to stay home. I just want to be in my own comfort. I'm actually, recording this podcast on a Saturday night. But yeah, I was dancing around to music. We put the Christmas tree up. We've had a great time. And it's such a nice zone to be in. You go, yeah, I was disappointed. But you know what? I supply my own love. And I love being in my own company. So a relationship is a bonus. And also, guys, to remember that when we're often in a new relationship, that's usually when all the triggers start. That's when the hard work starts. And it isn't a movie fairy tale. All stuff that we could think we are over and dead and buried can all of a sudden come rearing to the surface. And it's like, whoa, because as soon as you start to have feelings for somebody, there can be fear of getting hurt again, and then there can be memories that come up, and then you got PTSD and trauma and all these other things, and that's just unresolved work. And there are people that are like, I'm ready. I've done my work. I'm ready. And my heart is wide open. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful place to be in. And there are many, many of us looking, and many of us not successful. And it's very interesting. It's a very interesting time. That's why I wanted to do a whole topic on it. Because there are so many conscious awake people that are single and not able to couple up. And I do have a little bit of a theory that it's just not what we should be doing right now in this point of time in this world. But that's just my theory. And really, we are the creators and manifestors of our lives. So I need to turn my internal language from, oh God, it's so hard to date at my age. Everybody's married. I need to turn that into, oh, it's so easy to date at my age. There's so many people available. You see the difference? Expansion from fearful. If I keep on saying how hard it is, it's always going to be hard. So we have to manifest and be our own creators. I think that's everything I wanted to discuss. And I wanted to just finish on this beautiful, beautiful thing that my friend said today. You are a god or goddess in your own right, and you're on your own path. So always remember that. And a relationship with someone else is a bonus. We don't need anyone for anything. That's a very dangerous place to be in. I dated somebody and they said, I need this and I need that and I need that and that. And they'd already said that a previous relationship which broke down, they were constantly just saying what the other person needed. And it was only after a couple of months that I went, I haven't once come to you and told you what I need from you, because I supply my own needs. I don't need anything from you. I'm just enjoying hanging out and spending time. But all I got from them was, I need this, I need that, I need that from you. And nothing I did was good enough. And it was such a good mirror, because I have been on the other side before. And I've had men in my life say, nothing I ever do is good enough. And so to be on the other side of it, I was able to vocalize and say, when you say that, I feel like shit. I feel like I'm failing. Like, it doesn't matter what I change in my life, nothing is ever good enough for you. So that was so insightful. So always, always, always have gratitude and say thank you for whatever that relationship shows you, even if it's just a couple of months, if it's just a little dating, And one person this year had so many insecurities, riddled with insecurities, and it was such a contrast, because when I met him, he was super confident. And let me put it this way, he wasn't very attractive, but that doesn't matter to me, because I'm attracted to someone's soul. What attracted me to him was his confidence and his kindness. So I was set up by another friend, and she said, oh, he's so kind, he's such a kind man, he's so kind, he's so kind, he's so kind. I was like, okay, kind, kind, kind. And he was so confident and laid back. I was like, I am so turned on by how confident he is. But as I got to know him, all these insecurities came out, and then he was projecting them onto me. And then because we were sleeping together, I then felt really insecure. And I was like, this is not my stuff. Like, this is not me. What is going on? And communication wasn't working, and a couple of things happened. I've got like a 3-strike on your rule, 3-strike rule out. 3 strikes and you're out rule. Okay, so it's like, if you have one disagreement, okay, that's a hiccup that you learn from. A second one is like, hang on, this is a pattern happening. Third time, you're gone. And it's very empowering, and that's not being harsh or brutal. But if you've got 3 arguments within 2 months, there's something wrong, and I'm not afraid to walk away. And I think that's very healthy. And that's, again, those boundaries, coming back to what we said at the beginning, boundaries that you set with yourself. That's your self-worth. That's your standard, because it stops you falling back into toxic relationships. And a toxic relationship is always a lot worse than no relationship. You don't have to go into a bad relationship to learn things all the time. You can choose to learn from them by opting out and saying, this is a toxic codependent relationship. See you later. And still do your inner work. So please, 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 anybody out there, and from someone who's gone through domestic violence and domestic abuse and coercive control, never, ever, 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 under any circumstance, risk your safety to be in that relationship, or the safety of your kids. And there are methods and resources and tactics to escape in a certain way. So please, never, ever, ever risk you or your child's or children's well-being. Okay? Get help, do it properly, and do it safely, and get out. Okay? You can do it. Nothing is impossible. And trust me, I'll wrap this up by saying this. I left when I had a temporary visa, no income, no job. I was self-employed, no business, no money. Only my credit cards that were up to the hilt. I had no family. They're in the UK. All my friends were in Sydney, 2.5 hour drive away. I hadn't established friends in this neighbourhood. I had nowhere to go. I couldn't even go to the refuges because they were full up. And I still managed to do it. Okay, I still managed to get my own rental. I managed to get my business going. By the grace of God, a nun took me into her house. Miracles do happen. You just really have to work hard for it. But I tell you something, it's the most rewarding thing in the world. And knowing that me and my son were safe was the best feeling I've ever had in my entire life. And I prayed to God that night. I remember I sat on the floor. My son was asleep on the bed. I had one bedroom with 2 beds in it. So I pushed the beds together. He was asleep. And I just sat on the floor cross-legged to meditate. And I just was beaming gratitude with tears down my eyes. Like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you that we are safe. And nothing else really matters. It doesn't matter what you got in your wardrobe or how much money you got in the bank. All of that can be worked out. All of that can be negotiated. All of that. Things just seem to fall into place. Trust me. The universe has your back. So I'll wrap it up there. And I hope that sheds some light and helps other people out there that are conscious dating. And especially, as I say, as an empath, it's even trickier. But if we can turn it around and use it as a gift rather than a curse, you can get quicker at discerning people's energy. In fact, online is probably even better because we don't have to go out there and feel people's energy and be repelled or take anything on or have to drink alcohol or anything like that in order to connect with people. So that's a really good positive positive outcome of being online, and we can still feel into people's energy. And like I say, never ever give up. There's a lot of men out there and they keep getting ghosted. They can't seem to make a connection. And I've always gone onto their groups. I'm like, never give up. Just don't give up. Just stay open-hearted. Stay in your heart center. Keep on visualizing your soul partner coming to you and just stay open and open to receive and let the universe do what it needs to do to line things up. And it is tricky and it does take a long time. But if you put your barriers up, if you put your walls up, if you don't deal with your most inner deep fears, or you're still hanging on to hurt and trauma, that's all just blocking the heart chakra. Yeah. So I really encourage you to. And look, on that note, if you do want to work with me one-on-one, I am going to be putting some courses together. Some mini courses, as well as some meditation and sexual healing bundles, as well as an ebook. So it's all going to come up it's all been done behind the scenes, just got to get it out there. Stay in touch. It's the sacredlovequeen.com, and I'll put it on the end of this as well. Oh, hey guys, I haven't seen that we've got Woody Bush on here, and I can't say this, Sarush. Is that right? Did I say that? Just wrapping things up, but that's how you're going to get hold of me if you do want to work on more heart-centered practice. And reach out, and the email is tantrawithamanda@gmail.com. And if there's any other topics you want me to address, I love the fact that I can do this on a Saturday night. And yeah, so if there's any topics you want to know about, anything to do with love, sex, the heart center, energy systems, just drop us a line and I will address them on here. So stay tuned. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend wherever you are in the world. And I will see you very soon. Mwah! Sending lots and lots of love. Stay safe.